everyone, welcome back to another awesome project in React Native. So inside this project, we'll be building a Swiggy kind of clone inside of React Native using the Expo framework. So there was a kind of glitch or an error that I was not able to solve when I tried installing the bare React Native docs to build the application. So for that reason, I'll just be using the basic Expo framework that we have been using from our previous projects and videos to implement this project. Okay. So if you find this interesting, please hit the like button and also subscribe for more such content. Yeah. Okay. So let's get started. So the first step is to initialize Expo Manage project. So let's go do that. Okay, so over here inside my terminal, let me go to my build folder and then let me write Expo init. Let's say the project name. Okay, let's keep it as Wiki project for now, and then let's press on enter. So this would ask us to choose a template. So we're going to choose the first one, that is a blank template. And we also have certain different options with us, that is blank with template, blank with TypeScript, or tabs with TypeScript, or a minimal template. So we're going to choose the first one. It is defaultly selected. So we're going to press enter. So this would install all the JavaScript dependencies required to start building up our application from scratch. Okay, so let's wait for that to happen. And so talking about the design over here, towards my left, we have is the initial home screen, that is a main home screen. Okay, which contains a basic search bar at the top, and we have a carousel kind of design over here. And after that, we have the food types that is coming, okay, which is of course horizontally scrollable. And again, we have a horizontally scrollable component, that is a get quickly component. And after that, we have the hotels coming up. Okay, and towards my right, we have basically the menu for a different kind of hotel that is present. Okay, so let's come back over here. It is still taking some time to install, so let's wait for that to happen. Okay guys, so now the project has been initialized. Okay, so now let's move to the project directory and then let's check out the folder. Okay, so first let's write cd swiggy project. Okay, and then let's write code dot. So this should open up us another VS code with the correct folder. Let's close the previous one and we're going to use this one. Okay, so now let's go to the app.js and check out the basic code. Okay, so inside the app.js, so this is basically the boilerplate code that Expo has given us when we initialize Expo Manage project. So basically we are returning a view. Okay, and inside the view we have a basic text which says open up app.js to start working on your app. Okay, so this is actually the starting point of our application. We'll be building up our application from this point to the final point, okay, as seen in the demo video. So now the first step is to run our application. So let's do that. So let's press on terminal, new terminal, and then Expo start. Okay, so let's also open up our DevTools on Chrome. So over here we have pretty much 5 options to view our application. The first one is going to be on Android device or emulator, or on iOS simulator, or on a web browser, or pretty much these 2 options, that is send link with email or publish or republish project. And also we can see the application on our own phone by scanning this QR code present over here. So to scan the QR code, you need to have installed Expo Go app on your phone. Okay, so we're going to use the iOS simulators for that reason we're going to press on the second option. Yeah, so this should install the app on the simulator and it should just show this text which is there, because that's what we are returning inside our app.js, right? Yes, so let's wait for it to install. Okay, it's opening up the project. Yeah, so now it's working correctly. So as you can see, we are able to see the text at the center part of the screen. So this is basically because of the default styles that they've given, that is align items of center and justify content of center. Okay, so the next step we're going to do is we're going to create the file structure towards the left inside the file tree. So we're going to say new file, new folder. This is for the components, and this is for our screens, and one is for the data that we are using, right? Okay, so now let's press on the screens folder, create our very first screen, that is the home screen. So let's say homescreen.js, and then RNFES to get the shorthand snippet, that is React Native functional export with a component with the style sheet. So save the file. So to get the shorthand snippet, you need to have installed ES7 inside your systems. I think that is, yeah, this one, that is ES7 React Redux React Native snippets. Okay, also you can check out the other dependencies which in case you are interested in. Okay, so now let's go back to the file tree, and then let's start designing the home screen. Okay, so before that, inside the app.js, instead of just rendering this text, we're going to render the home screen from our screens folder. Okay, so save the file. Yeah, so as you can see, it's coming towards the center because of this default styling. So let's try and remove that out. Okay, yeah, so now the text is almost touching the status bar. Okay, so for that reason, we are going to come back to our home screen and we are going to make use of something called as a safe area view, so that it comes in the correct position. Okay, so copy that out and paste it over here. Alright guys, so the first thing inside the home screen is of course the search bar. So let's go design that out. So let's initialize a basic view. So the first thing we want inside this view is going to be the text input. So let's write that. Let's import it as well from React Native. Okay, so the next thing after the text input is that is we want is the search icon. Let's go get that out. So let's go to export.icons.fyi and let's search for the search icon. Let's import the icon over here, paste it over here, and the second thing is to render the component over here right after the text input. So save the file. Yeah, so as you can see, we are able to see the text input, which is blank, and this the icon and the home screen text. Let's remove the home screen text, that's not required. So for the text input, let's give a placeholder. So I want to say search for restaurant. Item or more. Save the file. Yeah, so you can see the text coming up. So now let's give some styling to the view. Okay, you're going to say flex direction of row, align items of center, justify current of space between, border width of 1, some external spacing that is margin, and some internal spacing that is called padding, and also the border color. So it's going to be C0, C0, C0. Then let's give some border radius. Okay, let's say 706. Let's give a format once. Save the file. Yeah, so you can see the search bar in a correct way. I think it's looking good. So for the text input, let's give some styling. That's basically the font size. Okay, we're going to say font size of 17. Okay, so now let's change the color of the icon. Okay, I think it is of course red in color. So let's take a red shade of CSS. So let's search for red shade CSS. Let's take any random color. Okay, so let's say this one. We're going to copy this one, and instead of the black color that is currently present, we're going to paste it this color. Save the file. Yeah, so you can see the color being changed. So that was it about the search bar. Okay, so let's write it over here. Let's just write a basic comment which says search bar. Okay, so after that we have of course the carousel, which is going to contain the images. So let's firstly create a new component inside a components folder, and we're going to say carousel.js. Okay, and rnfes to get the shorthand snippet. Save the file once, come back to the home screen. Let's import our carousel from the components folder like this. Okay, this one. So save the file. Yeah, so you can see the carousel coming. So now what we do is we are going to use a dependency that is React Native image slider box to implement this functionality. So let's do that. So React Native image slider box. Okay, so let's press on the first link, or let's check out the GitHub version if it is there. Okay, let's click GitHub. Okay, yeah, so let's install this first using yarn. So over here, press on new terminal, let's paste that out here over here and press enter. Okay, so this should give us a slider box component which is going to contain the images, right? So let's pretty much copy this piece of code and then come back to our carousel component and paste it over here. Okay, let's import slider box and let us get our images ready. Okay, so let's pretty much, or yeah, I think I have the images ready, so let me get that real quick. Okay guys, so I've just pasted the required images. That is basically three food images that is present. Okay, so over here inside the slider box, instead of rendering what they have given, we're going to render the images array, right? So let's say images and save the file. Okay, I don't know why it is giving the first text that we had. Okay, so let's see what exactly is happening, because that text is not even there inside our app.js. So let's just refresh the app and then start it from the beginning. So let's try it out from the start. Let's see, hopefully we could see the carousel coming up, right? Okay, we have a error, a fail to call into JavaScript module app registry. What is happening, right? So let's cut the server once and then start it again from the start. So let's say export start. Let's clear out the app and press on enter. Again, let's open up our export app tools on Chrome and press on iOS simulator. Let's close the previous export this developer tools and let's see what exactly is happening. Hopefully it should give us the error on the screen, or it should show us the carousel, right? Okay, view prop types has been removed from React Native. Okay, I think I've got this error previously. Okay, so in my another application while I was building it up, so I think we need to install one dependency. So let's do that real quick. So you might get this error, or you can just see the images coming up, okay, which is good. So if you in case get this error, just I think you should follow this. So it's gonna be appreciated React Native prop types. I think it should be yarn add. Okay, so hopefully the spelling should be right. Let's check that out once. Yeah, I think that's the one. So let's pretty much copy the correct spelling, and then I think it is right. Anyway, just to not go wrong again, let's just pretty much paste out the correct spelling. Okay, so let's install this dependency. Okay, so after that's done, we're gonna go into the node modules folder. Okay, over here, and then we are going to go into the React Native folder. Okay, where is that? Over here. Yeah, after going into the React Native folder, we're gonna go into the index.js file and we're gonna change something. I'll just get the code for that right now. Okay, so there is something called as depreciated types. Okay, so we need to search for that and paste this code that I'm currently pasting it. Okay, yeah, we have found it. It's currently on line number 437. That is this one. Okay, so let's pretty much copy it and then paste this code that I have pasted right now. Okay, so I think it should probably work. That is what I've done in my previous application when I got the same kind of error. So save the file once and I think close the index file. Let's come back to our terminal, cut the server since we have made the changes in the node modules. Let's start it from the start. Okay, so let's say export start. And let's open up our DevTools. Let's close the previous one and hopefully it should give us this time the correct output, right? Let's see that out. Okay, it's opening up on iPhone 14 Pro. Come on. And yes, finally it's working. Finally, yes. So yeah, that's it about the carousel. So now we need to give some options to the carousel. So let's go do that. So let's close the node modules folder. So let's come to the carousel component, and we have some options to give. So let's remove all these. So we have the autoplay, and we have something called as circle loop, and we have something called as active dot color, or it's just going to be the dot color. So let me just see the code once for the color code. So it's going to be 13274F. Okay, so after that we have the inactive dot color. So this is gonna be a 90A4AE. Okay, so these are some of the styles, and next we'll be targeting the border radius. So for that reason we're gonna say image component style. It's gonna take an object of styles. So first thing is of course border radius. It's gonna be 6. Then is the width attribute. It's gonna be 94%. Okay, so I think that's it. So let's see if everything's working fine. So save the file once. Yeah, so you can see the active dot color and the inactive dot color being changed. Okay, so this is the basically 3 basic food images that is present. So that's it about the carousel part. Okay, so let's give in a message which says image slider. Okay, so after that we have is the food types. So let's create a new component for that. Just gonna say food types dot js. Okay, so we're gonna say rnfes to get the shorthand snippet. Save the file once, and then come back to our home screen. Let's write a comment out. So food items types. Okay, so after that let's just import the food types. So save the file. Yeah, so you can see the food types coming out. So now let me just get the data that we need to use the food types right now. Okay guys, I just pasted the different types of food that we have. So we have a types array, and inside the types array is basically array of object. So each object, each of the object has a unique ID and the image link, and also the name of the food, that is the type of the food basically. So we'll be making use of the map function and map through the entire types array, and then we'll be rendering the required data. Fine. So save the file once. Over here, let's make use of a scroll view. So scroll view, let's import scroll view from a React Native over here. So save the file once. So instead of scroll view, we're gonna access the types array. We're gonna map over it. So for every item inside the types array, we're gonna also grab the index. So for every item, let's say we're gonna return a view for now. Okay, so we have 2 things inside the view. The first thing is going to be the image, and beneath the image we're going to have the text thing. Okay, so firstly let's import image, and next is going to be the text. Okay, so let's import an image from React Native as such. So this is going to take in the source, which is going to take in the URI. So we have the item. So item is mapping through each object inside the types array. So to access the image, it's going to be item.image, right? So for that reason, in the URI we're going to say item.image. So let's put in some style so that we can see the image is coming up. Okay, so let's give the width and height. So with width is going to be of 60, and the height is going to be of 60. Border radius is going to be half of the width and height, so that it's going to look circular, that is 30. Okay, so for the text, it's gonna be item.name, right? So item.name, so save the file. Yeah, so you can see pretty much all the items coming up. So let's give the key. So key is gonna be index. Save the file. Okay, so currently it is in a vertical fashion. We're gonna provide it in we're gonna show it in the horizontal fashion. Okay, so currently they are stuck to each other. So before that, let me write over here horizontal, and we're gonna say show horizontal scroll indicator, and we're gonna set it to be false. Okay, so currently each of the items are almost stuck to each other. So for that reason, let's come to the view. Let's give some basic style, that is external spacing margin of 10. Okay, so as you can see, we are able to scroll and the scroll indicator is not seen. Okay, so for the text, let's give some basic styling, some space on the top since it's almost touching the image. So margin top of 6. Okay, and we're going to say text align center since it's not correctly aligned with the image. So save the file. Yeah, so now we are able to see the horizontal list of different food items. Okay, so the next thing we do is the get quickly component. Okay, so let's create a new component. So over here you're gonna say quick food .js and then rnfes to get the shorthand snippet. So save the file once. Let's come back to our home screen. Okay, so let's write in a command, okay, which is gonna be a quick food component. Okay, so we are gonna firstly import the quick food component from the components folder as such, and then save the file. Okay, yeah, so pretty much you can see the quick food being rendered on the screen. That is the basic text. So the first thing is to import the data that we have. Okay, so all the data required for the quick food component is present inside the drive link. I've prepared my own data, so for that reason let's go to the drive link and then get the required data. Okay, so I'll be sending the drive link in the description below to get access for the data. So let's pretty much copy the quick food basic data. Okay, let's come back to our file tree, and then inside the data folder let's create a new file, that is let's say quickfood.js. let's paste it over. Okay, and save the file. Let's create another file for the hotels as well. So it's going to be hotels.js, and let's also import the hotels data that is present in another file over here. Okay, so I've pasted the data for the hotels. This will be looking into after the quick food component. Okay, so now let's come back to our quick food component and we'll start designing this part. Okay, so for that reason, firstly we need to include our we have to import our data. So we're going to say import quick food from the data folder. So let's initialize it over here. Let's say const data equals to quick food, and over here you're gonna firstly give a margin of 10. Okay, so now for the quick food text, or instead of quick food, it's gonna be get it quickly. So for the style, let's give a font size of 16 and then a font weight of 500. Okay, it's looking good. So after that, let us initialize our scroll view, because we want to scroll through the list of items that is present. So let's say scroll view. Let's import it from React Native. Okay, so let us make use of the map function. So we have the data stored inside over here. So let's say data.map. So for each of the item inside the data that is present, let's also grab the index. We are going to return a pressable this time. So let's say pressable, and let's import pressable from React Native. Okay, so first let's look at the data that is present. So over here inside the quickfood.js, so each of the object has a unique ID, it has the image link, it has the name of the food, okay, yeah, the name of the food, and then pretty much the rating, the time it takes, and also the offer of it. Okay, so that's it about the data. So now let's come back to a component, and then over here firstly let's provide the key. That's going to be the index itself. So the first thing we have is the image. So here we'll be making use of an image background because we want to render something on the image, right? That is the offer. Let's make it like this, okay? And let us import image background from React Native. Let's give the source for this. So it's going to take in the URI. So it's going to be the item.image. If you check out the data, so it's going to be image, okay? So now let's provide some style to it so that we can see it on the screen. So let's say style, let's give a aspect ratio of let's say 5:6, and then a height to it of 170. Okay, so yeah, I think let's save the file first. Yeah, so you can see all the images coming up. Okay, so I think currently the home screen is not scrollable because it's not inside a scroll view. So for that reason, now instead of making use of a safe area view, let us make use of a scroll view inside the home screen so that it is completely scrollable, right? So let's copy this out, scroll view, and then instead of the safe area view, let's paste that over, and let's provide some margin top, okay, to the scroll view. So let's say style and a margin top of let's say 40. Save the file. Let's keep it to 50. Yeah, so now we are able to scroll it, okay, but this particular component should be horizontally scrollable. Okay, so let's come back to quick food, and let's say horizontal for the scroll view over here. Let's write that over, and we're also going to say shows horizontal scroll indicator, and we're going to set it to be false. Okay, yeah, so there you go, we are able to scroll it properly. So currently all the items inside the pressable are almost sticking to each other. So for that reason, let's give a style prop, and we're going to say a margin of 10, that is external spacing, and let's give some image style to the image background, that is basically the border radius. Let's say 6. Save the file. Okay, I think that's looking good. So now next we have is the text that is coming up. So inside the image background, let us initialize the text. So this is going to be the item.offer. I think that's the correct name. Yes, it is going to be offer. So let's give the style for this. So let's say position of absolute, and then we're going to say bottom of 10, and then left of 10. We're going to increase the font size to be let's say 28, font weight of bold, and a color of white. Okay, so let us save the file once. So save the file. Okay, so after this we're going to write a hard-coded value which says off. Okay, yeah, I think it's looking pretty better. I think we need to increase the font size a bit because over here it's looking a bit more bigger, right? So let's keep it to 30, and for the font weight, let's try 900 if it's there. Yeah, I think it's looking okay, but it's coming almost out of the image. So let's keep it to 27 itself. Okay, yeah, I think it's looking better. Okay, so the next thing we have is the name, right? So for that reason, after the image, we're gonna initialize our text. We're gonna say item dot, okay, if you come to the quick food, it's gonna be item dot name. So let's write that out. Okay, yeah, I think everything is looking perfect. So let's give some spacing and some styling, basically the font size and font weight to it. So style, margin top of 10, and let's try text align of center. Is it text align center? Nope, it is not. So let's give a font size of 15 and then a font weight of 500. Okay, I think that's looking better. Let's increase the font size a bit to be 17. Okay, because for this it's going out, let's keep it to be 16. Actually, we can make use of the substring method. Okay, but it's fine. We're gonna make it 16. Okay, so after that, we have to design this part, the bottom part. So for that reason, let's initialize a view. So the first thing we have is a star and then the rating. After that, we have the time. So let's go get the star icon first. So over here, we're gonna say expo.icons.fyi. You're gonna search for the star icon. Okay, so let's see if we get the correct one. Yeah, I think this is the one. So let's import the icon family first over here. And now let us render the component and paste it over here. Okay, so save the file. Yeah, so you can see that coming out. So after that, we have is the text which says item dot, I think it's gonna be rating. Okay, so after that we have a basic dot. So I think in Mac it's gonna be option 8 to get that dot. Okay, and finally we have the times. Okay, so let's say text again. So it's gonna be item dot time. Okay, so for the outer view that is containing 4 of the children attributes, you're gonna give the style. So it's gonna be a flex direction of row, and then align items of center, justify content of I think let's not give that for now. Let's give these 2 styles for now. Okay, or let's give justify content space around first and then check it out, or space between is better. Nope, I don't think we have that. I think we can do it with the help of margin itself. So let's remove that out, and for the icon, let's give it a green color. Okay, so for the rating, let's give some styling. Margin left of 3. So the same thing for all the remaining texts. Now let's increase the font size. So it's gonna be minutes. So let's say font size of 15 and then font weight of 400. Okay, and for the view, let's give some margin top of 5. 5 is looking a bit too much. 3, I think 3 is looking good. Okay, so the next thing we do is we're gonna provide, I think it's looking good, right? Let's provide the same font size to the rating. Okay, yeah, I think it's looking better. Yeah, so I think that's it about the get quickly component. So the next thing we're going to do is the buttons. Okay, that is a filter button. So if we have time, we're going to make the implementation for this, because there's a lot of implementation to do. So after this design, we're going to implement the hotels that are coming up. Okay, so let's get started with these 3 buttons that we have. So let's design the first button, that is the sort button. I mean the filter button. So let's go back to our home screen, and over here let us write the command out. This is going to say filter buttons. Okay, so the first thing we need is, let's say, a pressable. So inside the pressable we have the text which says filter, and we also need to get the icon. Okay, so for that reason, let us search for the filter icon over here. Yeah, I think it's this one. Let's import any icons, and then let's import the render component code as well. Okay, so can't find pressable. Let us import pressable first. Okay, so let's give some margin over here. Let's say margin of 10. Okay, or let's give a margin horizontal of 10, or let's give a flex direction of row, and then align items of center. We're also going to give the border width of 1, and then the border color, it's going to be D0 D0 D0, and some internal spacing, that is padding of 10. We also need to give the border radius to it, so border radius, it's going to be 20. Okay, I think we also need to give justify center, that's not been done, so justify corner of center. Okay, I think that's it about the style. So let's save the file once and check out the button. Okay, yeah, I think it's looking better. So let's initialize a view at the top, and let's put the pressable over here inside the view, and let's pretty much copy this pressable a couple of times. Okay, and for the view, let's give the style, let's say flex direction of row, and then align items of center. Okay, fine. So now what we need to do is we let's give justify content of space around. Okay, so let's give it a specific width, let's say 150 or 120. Okay, so we do not have icons in the first, I mean in the second and third one, so let's remove that out. So it's just going to have the value, that is sort by rating and then sort by price, right? So let's write that out. And this one is going to be sort by price. Okay, yeah, I think it's looking better. So for the first one, let's give some spacing. Okay, basically the width, let us keep it to be 150 again, I mean 120. Yes, okay, so let us decrease the size of the icon to be 20, and let us provide some spacing to it. Okay, basically to the text. So let's give margin right of 6. Okay, yeah, I think that's it about the basic buttons that we have. And now we'll be rendering the list of hotels that is present. Okay, so for that reason, we're gonna make a new component first, that is the menu item. So let's say menu item.js, or you can name it whatever you want. So let's write rnfes to get the shorthand snippet. So save the file. Let's come back to the home screen, and let us import our hotels data that we have inside our data folder. So let's say import hotels from the data folder. So we're going to say const hotels equals to data, or const data equals to hotels. Okay, so now let us make use of the map function and then map over through all the data we have, and then we'll be rendering the menu component for each data that is present. Okay, so we're going to say, I mean data.map for each item. You're going to render a menu item, right? So let's pass in the key, it's going to be index, and we're going to pass in the item as props, it's going to be item itself. Okay, so let us save the file. Okay, can't find hotels. Why is that happening? Is there any spelling error? Okay, I think this one, let's remove that out, save the file. Yeah, so you can see 3 items being rendered, that is 3 times the component is being rendered, because we have 3 items. Okay, inside a hotels.js file over here. So this is the first item, and this is the second item and the third item. So only the first, so currently only the first item is put up for testing. That is it only has the separate menu. Okay, so the second one has just the information about the image, name, rating, time, and other details. Okay, whereas the first one has a different menu, and inside the menu we have different kinds of food that is recommended, and we also have rice. Okay, so just for testing purposes we have just put it to be one item. So if you want, you can just copy the same menu for the second data or also the third data as well. So we'll just be testing the first hotel for now. So for that reason, let's come back to our home screen or the menu component. Let's receive the data as props. Okay, so it's going to be item. So let us console.log item. Okay, so save the file. Yeah, so as you can see, we are able to see everything that is coming from the props, right? So let us make use of this data and then render the design. Okay, so firstly let us make use of a pressable over here, because on press of the hotel we need to navigate to the next screen. Okay, so the first thing we have is, let's keep it as a view. So this view is going to contain the image basically. So let's write in the image and let's import image from React Native. Okay, so the image is going to take in the source, of course, so let's write that. So the source is gonna take in the URI, so it's gonna be item.image. Let's check in the correct value. So not quick food, it's gonna be hotels.js. Yeah, it's gonna be item.image. So now let us give some style to the image so that we can see it on the screen. So style, we're gonna say aspect ratio of let's say 4:5 and a height of 150. Okay, I think we also should give the border radius to it. So let's say border radius of 8. Okay, so let us save the file first. Can't find pressable. Let's import pressable from React Native as such and save the file. Yeah, so you can see all the items coming out now. So now what we do is we're gonna give some spacing to the overall view over here. Let's say some margin of 10, that is external spacing. Okay, I think that's looking better. So now what we do is we are going to render the heart icon that is present over here. So for that reason, let's get the heart icon from the expo icons over here. So let's search for heart. Let's take it from and design. Let's import the icon family first over here, and let's render the component as well. Yeah, so you can see the heart coming. So over here, let's give some style to the and design icon. We're going to say position of absolute. We're going to say right of 10 and then a top of 10. Okay, so color, instead of black, it's going to be white. Save the file. Okay, we're not able to see anything. Why is that? I think we should make yeah, the position, the parent to be relative. So position relative. Okay, we are still not able to see it. Let's see what exactly the problem is. Okay, so instead of image, let's make use of image background. So the source is going to be the same thing. Okay, and the style is going to be this. So the border radius is going to come with the image style as we have previously done. So it's going to be image style. We're going to say border radius of 8 and we're going to put in the and design icon over here. Let's remove the image and let's put it over here, and let's import image background from React Native. Okay, so over here image background, and then save the file. Can't find image background. Okay, I think the spelling is wrong. Let's check it out from our quick food. Right, let's pretty much copy this image background component and render it inside our menu item as such. Okay, so we have the and design icon over here, or let's say let's just hard code a value over here. Okay, so let's see if it is exactly working. Yeah, it is coming. So instead of the text, we're just going to show the and design icon. Okay, so copy the render component code and then paste it over here. So the style is going to be a position of absolute, and I think it should be a top, yeah, over here we have a bottom 10 and left 10, whereas in this case it's going to be a top of 20 and then left of, a right of 20. Yeah, so you can see the icon coming. So let's keep it to 10. Okay, and let's make the color to be white instead of black. Okay, so the next thing we have is our second view, which is going to contain pretty much the details part of it. Okay, so the first thing we have is the name. Okay, so it's going to be a basic text, which is going to be item.name. Okay, so for the outer view, for the pressable, we are going to say style, flex direction of row, and then align items of center. Okay, so let's remove align item center. We just wanted to see from the top like that, and let's give a margin left to this view. Okay, so for the text part of it, let's give a font size of 16 and then a font weight of bold. Okay, I think it's looking pretty better. So the next part is, we have already done that is, it's basically that over here in the quick food component. So let's pretty much copy that out. That is this view, and let us paste it inside our menu component right after the text. Okay, so it's again going to be item.rating. Okay, inside the hotels we have item.rating again, and we have also item.time inside the hotels, that is this one, and other details are pretty much hard coded, that is the dot, and then we have the basic styling that we have given, which is same as in the quick food component. One thing we need to import is the material icons for the star icon that is present. So let's do that real quick. Let's paste it over here and let us save the file. Okay, yeah, so that part is done. So the next thing we are going to do is to render the address part. So it's going to be after this view. Okay, so this is going to be the item dot, let's check out the correct spelling inside hotel. So it's going to be address. Okay, so save the file. Okay, so let's give some basic styling. So let's say font size of 17 and then color of gray. So color is gonna be gray, and yeah, that's it. Okay, it's almost going outside the screen. We can either decrease the font size or make use of the substring method. Okay, I think we're going to decrease the font size a bit to 15. Okay, or 16 is, yeah, I think 16 is better. Okay, so let's provide some spacing to the top. So let's say margin top of 6. Fine. So the next thing we do is we are going to render the cost for two people, right? So for that reason, I'm just going to get the code right now. Okay, so this is for the cost for 2 people. So this is just basic styling. So you can check out, we have a basic view with the style of flex direction of row and a margin top of 5 and align items of center. And we have basically a view over here, which is going to contain the rupee symbol. And after the rupee symbol, we have the text, which is going to be, contain the item that is cost for 2 people with the text over here. Okay. So you can pretty much check out the styles for that. So for the rupee symbol, we have a background color and a width of 22, a height of 22, and a border radius of 11 to make it look circular. And we have align items and justify of center. Okay, so let us save the file once. Yeah, so you can see that text coming up. So the rupee symbol is in a background color of light pink, and we have the cost for 2. So the next thing we do is we render another view that is for the delivery fee. So let's say, okay, we are not in the correct part. It should come after here. Yeah, so this is going to contain the delivery icon. So pretty much a bike icon. Let's search for that if we can get one. Yeah, let's choose this, and we're going to import it from React, from expo vector icons, and then copy the render component code and paste it over here. Okay, I think just let's format once. Okay, it should come over here, or let the icon come first, and after that we're going to make use of the text. Just going to say free delivery. Okay, so save the file once. So for the view which is going to contain these two children, we are going to say flex direction of row and then align items with center. Okay, so let's give some margin top to it of 10. Okay, and I think that's it. So let's format the document once. So for the text, let's give the style that is a margin left of 4 or 3. Okay, it's margin right is selected, so margin left of 6. All right, so let us increase the font size a bit to 16. Okay, and the next thing we do is we increase the font size for this text. Okay, I think it's 14. Let's keep it to be 16. Yeah, I think that's looking better. And let's provide some margin top. Let's increase it to be 5. Okay, I think that's it about the hotels part. Okay, so if you press on any one of the hotel, you should be navigated to the next screen. So for that part we need to install the React navigation docs. So let's move over to the React navigation docs, and then let's install the dependencies for React navigation.